The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome to another GoldMine 101, our regular series of short presentations giving you hints and tips for getting the most out of GoldMine CRM. And in this session, I'm going to cover how to handle old phone calls in your system. Maybe during lockdown, maybe now with increased activity, you come back to your GoldMine system and you see that there's lots of old phone calls. What do you want to do with them? Do you want to remove them from your GoldMine system? Do you want to reallocate them? It's always a good idea to always keep in mind that any CRM system, GoldMine and any other CRM system, needs maintaining. And as regards these phone calls, then, and indeed any other sales activities, you need to keep on top of those. And if for any reason they're not being completed, they could maybe make for an untidy system that could be then going forwards a little bit more difficult to use, a little bit more difficult to do reporting from the system and maybe any marketing from the system. So it's a good idea to keep these things tidy. So hello, my name is Tim Wilmot and my company Wizard Systems. We're a specialist CRM system supplier, independent supplier who help small and mid-sized organizations improve their sales productivity, marketing, and customer service through the use of simple and affordable solutions like GoldMine. This presentation will be about 10 minutes or so in duration, just touching on the capabilities and things that you can do with reallocating or removing these old activities. And my company, Wizard Systems, we offer many other help options if you'd like to explore those with us. The audio part of this presentation is one way only. If you've got any questions, please type those into the question box on your meeting control panel. I'll do my best to answer those at the end. And also at the end, I'll give you an update on GoldMine product news, the latest GoldMine versions, for example. And this call is being recorded. After the event, those listening live, you will get an email from our system with a link to the recording that you can play back as and when you want to, and it will be up on our YouTube channel as well. Just go to YouTube and do a search for Wizard Systems, all one word, and you'll find there well over 100 other GoldMine training videos. So, brief mention about Wizard Systems. We are a well-established, long-standing supplier of GoldMine and other leading CRM solutions. We provide the complete service around GoldMine, the product, upgrades, implementation, training, obviously during lockdown or doing semi-lockdown at the moment. We are providing all our training online when it's safe to go back to our training center in Bristol and open it up to our customers. All our training is online. And we provide all the ongoing support, technical support, help desk support as well. Okay, let's get into GoldMine then and old activities. So here is, those of you that are familiar with GoldMine, here is an activity list showing outstanding phone call activities for a particular user and a particular date range. So that's one way in which you can visually see whether you've got any old activities. If, for example, you selected today and prior, that would show you a lot of old activities, and depending on the size of that scroll bar there, that would indicate the nature of the issue. So, what do you want to do with these old activities? If you don't intend to do something with them, if nobody's going to make those phone calls. And obviously in GoldMine, you can give access to each other's activity lists. There's normally no issue with user A being able to see user B's activities. But if you want to finally do something with these activities, you've got a couple of choices, really. First of all, you could reallocate them to another user. Maybe this user no longer works for the company and you need to reallocate, you need to transfer these activities to another user. Well, very simply, you can right-click over that activity list and go down to Options and then select rollover from that little pop-up menu. And this is where you can then select another user that you want to reallocate them to. And then you need to think about the due date of those phone calls. So every activity in GoldMine has got a due date. When should you do that activity? Well, these calls, maybe they're quite old as regards the age of these, the due date of these calls. So the two options are you can roll over all of the activities to a certain date. Well, it's defaulted to tomorrow. But that's going to change all of those activities, irrespective of what age they are, what due date they are. It's going to override that due date. So this user now will look at these calls and think, when should that have been actually made? Should it have been made in 2019 or March 2020? It might be a bit difficult to see that. Possibly a better option is to roll over each activity by a certain number of days. So it's just going to advance the date of the activity. So this one here, 17th of April 2019, that will go to the 20th of April 2019. So that's the first option, to reallocate or transfer the activities. If, however, you want to remove these activities, you've got for whatever reason, you've got no intention of making them. Of course, you could reallocate and reschedule activities one by one or en masse against a group of activities using the group schedule feature of GoldMine. We have covered that on a few of our 101 sessions before. The other second option, then, if you want to sort of more permanently do something with those activities, and in all recent versions of GoldMine, there's the auto update feature. Few more options here. You can see them all. So we could complete the activities currently displayed in that activity list. That's not just the visually displayed, but using the scroll bar, all of the activities that you can view in that list. You probably wouldn't do that, because if they never took place, then you probably wouldn't actually select that activity. So you could delete the activity here, all the activities, or a certain type of activity if you're viewing lots of different types of activities. And also you can select a different date range as well. So that will permanently remove those activities. In any of these options, you must make sure that you've done a backup of your GoldMine system. There is no edit undo. You can't undo these changes. Once you've done them, that's it. There may be some examples where Wizard Systems could assist you in getting back to the situation where you were before, but assume you can't. You must make sure that you've done a backup, you've got a verified backup of your GoldMine database. We will be covering different backup options in GoldMine on a new 101 session that we'll be running in the next week or two. So make sure you've got a backup of your GoldMine system before doing any of these, because there is no edit undo. So that's it then, how to manage old activities in your system. As we normally do, those people that are regular attendees, you'll know that we have a little Q&A session now, generally around this feature, but if you've got any questions on GoldMine generally, please pop those into the question box on your meeting control panel, and I will read out those with your first name. So, question from Jonah: can I disable the ability to do this? Yes, you can. In the user setup, you can disable the options to do that. Normally, it would just be an administrator, a sales administrator, a GoldMine administrator, a master user that would do this. Next question from Amanda. We use synchronization. Will the deletions update other installations? Yes, it will. So yes, that if you use synchronization, the deletions will carry forwards. You wouldn't normally disable that feature. I think it can be disabled in your synchronization options, but yes, if you've got completely separate Goldmine installations, then they will transfer to the other Goldmine installations that you've got. Uh, Stuart, how do I know how many old calls I have? Very good question. Pretty obvious, Stuart. Well, you can, okay, there's a few ways of doing this. You could run a report and then have a count on the reports. There are a few Goldman reports built in that will do that. You could create a group of these calls where you will get a group count. Thirdly, there's an SQL query screen in GoldMine on your tools menu. You could do an SQL query. It will be something like select open brackets star the asterisk star close open brackets count from Cal, C-A-L. I'll email it to you afterwards, but that would be a way of just getting a simple count. It's something like that. I'm trying to remember my SQL syntax now. Select star from select count star from Cal, something like that. I'll email it to you, Stuart. Or alternatively, we do also, on all of our Goldmine installations, we implement a simple Goldmine dashboard, which will give you the counts of all the different areas in Goldmine, the records of the number of customers you've got, records of the activities you've done. So that would be another way of doing that. Right, let me just check. Don't think there's any more questions coming through. So thanks very much for those. Just to keep you in the loop then with news, all our training is online, as I've mentioned already. So if you want any training on any aspect of Goldmine, we can give you a half hour's training, an hour's training, wherever you are, and we can record the session as well so that you can share it with colleagues. Just give us a call if you've got any ideas for training. The latest release of Goldmine, released a week or two ago, is 2020.1. This has got some important email security improvements. It's on our Goldmine blog, all the ins and outs of this change. But if you are using Goldmine and email, this is a very important upgrade that you should do in the next few months. There are some special offers on maintenance up until the end of September. So if you've been out of maintenance for a few years, please contact us. You may be running then a very old version of Goldmine. If you are emailing from Goldmine, it may not comply with, going forwards, comply with Google and Microsoft. So you want to stay on the right side. So please contact us for any details or a special price for you on a Goldmine upgrade. Getting Goldmine upgrades, the only way of doing that is to have a Goldmine maintenance contract from Wizard Systems. So that's it, me done on our weekly session this week. We will meet again next week, same day, same time, for another Goldmine topic. If you've got any suggestions for topics for our weekly training sessions, please drop me a line, tim@wizard-systems.com. There's all of our other contact details there, including YouTube. Go up to YouTube, you'll see loads of Goldmine videos. There's a Goldmine playlist up there as well. But thanks very much for those of you listening live. Have a nice day, and we will speak to you same time next week. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.